Okay, so this is the Ember Island players. You might notice that this is like the exact same shot from 2 videos ago. That's because I actually, in terms of when I'm shooting these, they're a touch out of order, but what do you care? So, okay, I watched the episodes in order, though. That's all the important. So we have this episode that actually I've been told about ahead of time. I wasn't told any of the jokes. I was just made aware that this episode was coming. Like, everyone... I go to cons, everyone tells me this episode's coming. My brother told me it was coming. They're all like, well, there's no spoilers in it, so it's okay. And they all said the same thing. It's a total filler episode. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just a cute little thing for laughs. And it kind of is. I mean, they address a little bit sort of the romance between Katara and Aang, which I wasn't really digging, by the way, but I'll get to that in a second. So they told me that they go to this place where, in the Fire Nation, where they put on a show, this theatrical production of everything that has happened so far, but it's through the Fire Nation's filtered eyes. And it sounded great, and a lot of it was great, but I think it's very possible people telling me about it, maybe it ruined it for me. Because it's still good, it's like, okay, but I guess where I thought what I was gonna get, like, you just hear that idea, it's like, oh my god, that sounds hilarious, and some parts are legitimately hilarious, but other parts are just kind of slow, and it's like, what was that joke about? Or what was there even a joke there? Unless there's so many in-jokes, I'm just not getting them all, which is totally possible. But most of them I felt I got, and the ones that were clever were so clever. Especially now that I know the fan reaction to a lot of this stuff. It kills me. The Great Divide, was it the Great Divide episode? Where they're flying over, it's like, look at that Great Divide down there. Yeah, we should skip that. And they do, I mean, obviously they got feedback of people saying, we don't like that episode, The way they make fun of their own choices. I love it when the rock falls on the guy playing Jet, and he said, did Jet die? It was never really made clear. It's so clever. I mean, that stuff is so wonderful, and I like that they incorporate a lot of real theater techniques, and they have like kabuki acting in there, and all that stuff is really clever. I like how they also make fun of like sort of current theater techniques, like having a woman play Aang, obviously satirizing Peter Pan, and she flies around the theater. I mean, that's hugely funny. The moments where I sort of felt it fell flat, though, was that there's some parts where it just sort of looks like they tell what happens, or they just sort of keep reusing a joke, and it's not... just for me, it never quite hit a bullseye. And okay, for example, I know this is part of the joke, but Toph laughing as hard as she can at everyone's portrayals and saying how funny they are. And then when she pops up, I have a feeling they're going to do this, just this big, strong guy who comes to, I am Toph. You know, it was funny, but the fact that she was not offended by it, I know what they were going for, but it just didn't work for me. She should have been offended by it. I know they're doing it because they're expecting she's going to be offended and they give you something else. But it would have been funnier if she was offended. Because her angry is very funny. And by sort of not giving it... Okay, it plays with an expectation, but it's not necessarily funny. At least for me. Maybe it was funny for you guys. I don't know. So... you got this play, and it's, you know, it's, like I said, there's about 4 or 5 times where I'm like, wow, that's really funny. Like, that's really clever, really funny. I love, you know, the portrayals from, you know, this person, a surprisingly knowledgeable cabbage salesman. I mean, that, hugely funny, very, very, very funny. But you sort of gotta really wait for them, sort of through these very slow, either awkward jokes or just moments that's just sort of showing what happened, or... Isn't it kind of funny how the play is set up and it's not quite portraying it right? But what's the humor in part of how it's not being portrayed? I don't know. I'm being probably really nitpicky about this, but I think it's because this episode's been built up for me. And there is no, I mean, God, they weren't kidding when they said it was a filler episode. It's like, once it's done, you have that big thing where, well, I thought the play is over. It's like, no, apparently there's more. And I'm like, what is this building up to? And it shows the Fire Lord defeat Aang, and everyone goes, yay! And I thought, are they building up to a punchline? Are they building up to something where Aang is going to realize something else he has to do, or he's going to realize his responsibility? And no, they just walk out and say, what a bad play, and that's it. And no, come on! That's so much build-up. Either give something connected to the episode, or like, you know, a real good punchline. I just thought that was not strong enough. So you got that. But then the other thing you got going on, you got this bit where Toph is talking with Zuko about his uncle, and it's kind of rushed a touch. I felt like, couldn't you could explain this a little bit more, you know? But again, it kind of seems like if you take it out, it's no huge loss. It seems like there's probably other more important scenes, unless it comes back. But I don't see it. It's such a minor scene. It doesn't seem like it'd come back. And then you have this bit with Aang and Katara, where Katara is saying that she's just confused and she doesn't know what she wants and so forth. And I'm sorry, where did this come from exactly? I mean, granted, they weren't always focusing on the romance in this, but I mean, it seemed like they were okay. I mean, okay, they weren't holding hands or anything, but I mean, they seemed like they kissed, you know, a couple times, or indicated that they were interested in each other. You know, like I said, I mean, in the cave, and, you know, before he flies off to fight the Fire Lord, you know, they kiss, and they seem okay. Suddenly she's confused. It's like, where did this come from? And it just doesn't seem necessary to me. It seems like you have something nice going, why don't they keep developing it, and by her just saying, I'm confused, and nothing else, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't hold water for me, no pun intended. It seems very much like, you know, she says that it's part of war. We're in a battle, we're in a war, and there's so much going on, it's hard for me to focus. And, okay, but where at any point was that indicated? It's just sort of this one sentence, and that's about it. So, I don't know, that didn't gel well with me. So this is just an okay episode. And I know so many people are like, that's one of my favorites, that's one of the great ones. I just, I think it's just okay. And I'm totally fine if it's just a filler episode, honestly. You know, you've heard me say before, yeah, this is filler, but it's still great, come on. I mean, this is like the epitome of filler. I mean, there's like almost nothing connects to anything. Well, I mean, it's obviously a recap of what's happened, but, you know, nothing moving forward. If you took this episode out, it'd probably be fine, with the exception of, I guess, the Aang and Katara stuff. But even then, that's in there for just a little bit. So, yeah, not one of my favorites. I don't think a great idea. I really love the idea, and some of the moments are so perfectly done, particularly the fourth wall moments, I think are so smart, and I love a team that can laugh at themselves and the choices they've made and the fan interactions. I mean, hello, preaching to the choir. I love doing that stuff. I love seeing people who do that stuff. But, yeah, those moments are great. The jokes that fell flat just kind of fall flat and doesn't really move the story forward too much. So it's not bad. It's just okay. So sorry I couldn't be more optimistic about it, or sorry I couldn't be more upbeat about it. But to me, it was just an all right episode. Maybe if I didn't know going in, maybe it would have made a difference. I don't know. I still probably was seen as the same, but it's all right. That's about all I got. So getting close to the end here, kids. Getting close to the end of Avatar here. It's exciting. I'm really excited. I love this show. I know I've said it a million times, but I'm so excited to see how it's all gonna end and how it's all gonna come together. So real excited. I'll see you probably at the beginning of the finale is next. So I'll just see you there. Take care.